Clothes are dead. Shopping is over. We are not going to the store anymore. Close down all the malls, demolish them. Clothes are dead. And it's millennials' fault. So why aren't millennials buying clothes anymore? Well, after I saw this article yesterday on TikTok, it was trending on Twitter, and it was like, clothes are dead. I went through and I read the article, and I read all of the like supporting articles and all the research and facts that led up to this announcement that clothes were dead. And it was the same old adage, you know, millennials and their consumer habits are destroying the economy. And I swear, and I feel like this was a part of it, it was like new trends are leaving customers out of stores and glued to their phones because the new consumer would rather buy a tablet than a sock. And today, I just want to debunk this whole idea that millennials are destroying the clothing industry and explain to you why this is happening and where trends have gone that are keeping us out of the stores, but not necessarily. I feel like it's not millennials with the purpose, and you've seen articles like this before, like millennials are destroying the diamond. I don't need a diamond, and I don't know how you convinced my parents that they needed one, but I don't. I am so sick of all this like weird millennial culture. Instead of blaming millennials and your company is suffering and burning to the ground, you're just not adapting with trends. So I want to explain to you guys today why my generation isn't necessarily buying clothing, and like, yeah, maybe a little bit of it does have to do with the fact that I need an expensive iPhone in order to survive, but trends in consumer spending are changing, and I'm really sick of failing companies going and blaming Amazon and millennials. So here's my take on this. First of all, are clothes dead? Let's look at the retail apocalypse, which has its own Wikipedia article. It's that big box chains are closing down. And yeah, I do shop on Amazon, but in the last couple years, I've seen companies that I grew up with, or maybe just even heard of, that are filing for bankruptcy and closing down. Gander Mountain and H.H. Gregg are both two companies I talked about on this channel, and in my research found out that both of them have completely closed shop. But the funny thing about H.H. Gregg, you might remember, they were one of my very first sponsors in my like social media career ever. They were looking to get their feet wet in like influencer marketing, picked me back in 2015 and asked me to make a post about their holiday shopping. I signed a contract and they told me that they were going to send me a gift card. So in my mind, I was like, all right, cool, we'll go to H.H. Gregg, we'll get some products for like a cool like holiday gift guide, it'll be super cool. I ended up doing something like that with TD Bank like the next year, and I was like, yeah, I'm stoked. So I'm not even kidding you, they sent me a $10 gift card in the mail. And if you are unfamiliar with H.H. Gregg because it's gone, H.H. Gregg was kind of like a Best Buy. So not only could I not buy anything in the store with the $10 gift card besides like a Pepsi, what kind of shop at H.H. Gregg holiday ad could I possibly make where I have a whole shopping cart with just a Pepsi in it? Like, shop at H.H. Gregg this holiday season and get your very own Pepsi. So that goes without saying, I gave the gift card to my brother to put towards like a controller, and we ended up just taking a picture of the gift card in the parking lot. So anyway, that company failed. But companies are so out of touch. But that doesn't have any reflection on us. I feel like our spending habits are healthier than ever, which was one of the reasons I really didn't enjoy the tone of this article. I feel like articles like this point the finger. They never congratulate us. They assume that we're ruining the economy, but in all the research I did to make this video, everyone I talked to had pretty healthy consumer habits. I'm pretty proud of you guys. Like, good for us. So here's why our spending habits are having such an effect on the economy. First of all, are clothes dead? because my friends are trendier than ever. But the clothes we want aren't sold at JCPenney's. We're putting value into local artists and supporting our favorites through merch. There are so many indie artists I follow on social media who are making a living by making their art into a tangible thing, like putting their art on a shirt or a phone case or a print. And a big part of at least my wardrobe is these limited run clothing from artists and creators or for like big social events. For me, I want to know that my money made an impact. Plus, I love showing support for my niche interests. I feel like I'm involved in something greater and I'm not just wearing some like regurgitated corny slogan that's printed on a shirt that always circles my interest but never quite gets it right. I think a lot of people I know do wear band t-shirts, creators t-shirts, artists t-shirts, and these aren't things that you'll find in the store, but they're things that we're going out and researching and looking for and putting our money into, and that's so much more important to me. So if I see somebody wearing something, I'm more likely to be inspired by the piece than want to directly copy it. And there's one thing that fast fashion can kind of guarantee you, and that someone else is wearing that shirt. We are a generation that strives to be unique and as different as possible, and we're essentially conditioned at birth to stand out as much as possible. Have you ever taken a class on building a resume? Because I'm not kidding, my last job, we went to a job fair to collect resumes and stuff, and out of all the resumes we collected, there was one that had a golden paperclip attached to their cover letter, and they got a call back. And you know, I have to mention it, and one of the bigger problems that I feel like we face is storage. Personally, I can't have all the clothes I want and chase every trend because I don't have any room. I live in a city, and if I want to keep this fantasy up, I have to live small. And I'm not the only one living like this. As someone who puts a lot of value and consideration into the pieces that they purchase, parting with my clothes is sort of emotionally taxing. And like, I might be sounding a little dramatic here, but I really do love my stuff. So I talk myself out of buying a ton of stuff that I really don't have room for, so I can avoid the process of parting with things, and so I'm not living in a huge mess of my own clutter. Unless I move into a place that actually has a closet I can literally stand in, I do a lot of clothing refreshes and scour through my closet a lot, and if I don't want to have to go through that process a lot, I just have to get it at the source, and that is going shopping a lot and buying more things. So it's so obvious, it's in our face, and it's secondhand. Secondhand. Depop, thrift stores, secondhand, curated consignment, and it's an amazing system. The clothes we had such a hard time parting with get a second life when you sell them secondhand or donate them to the thrift store. And isn't that what we all want? More and more, I find myself excited to rummage through a thrift store versus going downtown and buying something new. And I always know that I can shop within my budget, take fashion risks, and shop within my ethics as well. With different thrift stores either putting their money into different foundations, helping out lower income shoppers, or just giving a garment that was potentially made in a sweatshop a new and extended life. Conscious consumers, which I feel like represents a lot of us, are always going to be more drawn to a thrift store. When I am making videos where I need to make a costume, Halloween, if I'm going for a certain look, I'll always check out a thrift store first. If you are a cosplayer, if you have all these looks that you try to curate, a thrift store is your best guarantee. Not to mention, vintage is always going to be in trend. None of us really know our purpose and are always looking to previous generations for answers and inspiration. Curated vintage shops have opened up all across Philadelphia, and although you'll pay higher prices for these versus a thrift store, you know that you're holding an actual piece of treasure. If I can find something from a consignment shop or like a curated thrift store, I know that it was from the 70s and it was protected all these years, so I could wear it in a shitposting video about mocking millennial culture. So while we're talking about trends, today, in this age, in our generation and our culture, Literally nothing is off limits and everything is in trend. There's honestly nothing you can't convince me is not trendy. We never have to follow mall trends or fashion magazines because there are no rules. Are you going for a disco cowboy look today? Camp counselor after dark? Kurt Cobain mermaid? Go ahead. I love you for it. I love your look. You're great, you're inspirational, you're inspired, and you'll fit in here perfectly. Obviously, bills are different, Wi-Fi, utilities, cell phone, data package. Did my parents pay for health insurance like this? I don't know, but I'd rather pay for that stuff first than new clothes every season. We have different jobs. I don't need to wear a specific wardrobe to work. Anything goes. And if I do work somewhere, it has a uniform, I don't know. And like, yes, we are on our phones. But phones are expensive. If I go out to dinner with my friends wearing the same dress I've been wearing all winter, all I have to do is go, my bills are crazy. And I bet you all my friends will be like, mood. And of course, I can mention that it's an oversaturated market, but I don't want you to believe that I'm not waiting every single day for a brand to make it big that I would love and that would accommodate me and my style and my ethics and my friends and my global imprint and all that stuff. But big companies do themselves such a disfavor by constantly screaming in our faces with branding. I literally get 3 emails a day from Old Navy because one time I went there and I got a paperless receipt where I entered my email address. I get even more emails a day from The Gap. So I'll get an email from Old Navy in the morning, 15% off spring looks. And then in the afternoon I'll get, and just for you, 40 additional % off. And then around dinner time, I'll get an email that's headlined, urgent, did we mention free shipping? And I'm like, how much do your clothes even cost? They're on sale every day. Just make them that price, I guess. 15% off, 40% off. Old Navy cash, Old Navy card holders. How much do your clothes cost? Why is this easier? So by the end of all this, I don't even want to shop at Old Navy because they've just thrown me through this weird loop all day. I feel like I can wait them out in 2 days and they'll tell me to just come in and take whatever I want off the rack. And I'm just like, I don't even know what to do. 2 months will go by because I'm playing this weird game with Old Navy, seeing how low can they really go. And by the end of it, the pair of shoes I wanted all along, they don't even sell there anymore because fast fashion has this insane clothing store turnover that if you don't buy the thing you want immediately, it disappears for some reason. Which is something I hate about the stock in fast fashion stores. If you're someone like the people who participated in my poll on Twitter, you don't shop very often. College, job, interest in thrifting, whatever reason keeps you out of the store, fashion turnover is so insane. In an interview with the CEO of H&M, he said that stock rotates so often in store that you can go to the same store twice in 1 week and not see the same 2 things on the shelf as before. And I'm somebody who sometimes I need time to think about my purchases. I need to think constructively about what's in my bank account, what I have room for in my closet, what I might need to wear in the future, and I can't always decide immediately, buy that shirt. Like, I have enough problems. Act fast can't be one of them. And like, it goes hand in hand with all these promo emails. Like, I'll get one and I'm like, oh no, they're having 30% off right now. That seems high, I should go for it. And then later they have 40%, so the next time I don't buy anything. Fast fashion stores are a mess. They have too much stock to go through. And online shopping is hard because I have a weird body and models don't look like me. Although in some defense, ASOS, Aerie, I see that they're using more like other body types in their campaign, so I'll give them that. That is some evolution I can support. So before we end this, we obviously have to talk about scandals. We are conscious consumers and we are aware of brands. Retailers suffer because they're nasty. the owner of American Apparel was a creep, H&M is asleep at the wheel, and you have to know that consumers care about that stuff. The H&M in Philadelphia was vandalized a couple weeks ago, and I didn't even see it on the news, I saw it on Twitter. We are a community of consumers who help each other out. Our niche styles are represented on social media. We review clothing and products to one another online, and we're upfront about the customer services that we receive. Reviews like "this shrank," "size up," "the price was too high for the quality," these are customer service pioneers because they go forth and try the product and they let us know if it's no good. And I can honestly tell you, I always read reviews. And if I'm on the fence about something, a positive review will 100% change my mind. So I feel like it's not that clothing is dead. It's that consumers like me and consumers like you have been put into this process, and we don't have a lot of room to talk about what we would like to see improved, so we're just taking ourselves out of the equation. I think having like a hot new look doesn't necessarily have to be new. We're not putting a lot of value into name brands. One of my notes just says, "I'd rather buy food." So do you feel like clothing is dead? Or do you just feel like the market isn't necessarily keeping up with our generation and our demands? I often feel like we are a forgotten generation of consumers. I feel like a lot of stuff is blamed on us rather than made to accommodate us. We are consumers who would rather take a look, any look, and just try to perform it ourselves the best way possible with garments that are either multifunctional or they have a good duration of use, they're affordable. On Twitter, a lot of people said that they just buy clothes on sale because they would rather pay those prices, so we're not necessarily caring too much about what's in trend or whatever was represented in Fashion Week. We just want the best thing for whatever situation we're in. I feel like articles that make us feel guilty like this aren't fair because they don't take a bigger look at how we are all consumers with different backgrounds and interests and needs. And I have sympathy for people who have to still shop with fast fashion because they can't necessarily buy ethically or they don't live near a thrift store. And documentaries that put people into shame and put the problem in their lap when none of us created it don't ever answer the problem. So millennials killed H&M is the craziest thing ever because H&M is doing crazy shit all the time and blaming it on their consumers is crazy. So I want to ask you guys how you feel. I'm going to have a follow-up video where I interview two separate people on the spectrum. Someone who values high brand impact and who shops very often, and someone who shops very mildly and puts more value into thrifting or necessarily only buys exactly what they need. And I want to take both of these ideas that I feel like represent each part of the spectrum and present that to you as well, because I just feel like I'm somebody who loves trends, and as an Instagram or social media person, I feel like I am in the middle of all this and I'm just like, this is bullshit. Let me know what you guys think. Stay tuned for that video tomorrow and give this video a thumbs up if you are into it. Thank you guys so much. Let me know exactly how you feel. How would you solve this problem? Or do you even care? Is it even a problem to you at all? It's not a problem with me. So let me know. Until next time, guys, make sure you subscribe and join the conversation. And until next time.